Good morning, happy Thursday, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I am Dr. Lori Monaco, the Badass Buddha. I am your chiropractic physician, your teacher, speaker, coach, specializing in mindfulness practice and transformation. I am your weight loss specialist, your wellness specialist, and I am coming to you from a rainy but really nice Southern Connecticut. So welcome, bringing the sunshine today to the state.
Good morning, buenos dias, mi gente. No, it's sunny here in Tampa. I just didn't open my curtains. And I'm sure it's hot, like hell's waiting room. I'll go in and out throughout the day, and I'll go out, and I'm like, fuck, why does anybody, like, how do you enjoy being in Florida? Unless you're on the beach, and I'm not a beach person. Like, why do I live here? So, yeah, that's where I'm at. Welcome, mi gente, here with La Margarita, your magically orgasmic being who is very tired this morning. So I have my cup of cafe and my thermos filled with cafe, which we'll be refilling this throughout the day. I wish I had some sambuca. But here we are. We have a phenomenal guest today. This guest is real special to me because she reminds me of a very special friend who you've met as well on the show early on, Laurita. I was telling the Badass Buddha this morning that when she said, we have Nicole Lupishansky, I was like, oh, Laurita.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to Laura and those who remember her. And she sent me a text that just triggered when Badass Buddha said that, when she asked me if we had broken up. And I think that was so funny. And that's so funny when friends can actually do that. Because I know I read the text and I cracked up and I said, of course not. Let's talk. And then we were like two ships in the night. So let's not be that to people around us, because two ships in the night end up getting lost at sea. So good morning. I am La Margarita. Welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche with the Badass Buddha. And that's it. We're going to talk shit the rest of the day, rest of the morning.
When don't we? Really? I mean, let's just be real. Right?
You know? How do you get shit done? Just one thing at a time. One thing at a time. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk one thing at a time today. Maybe at the same time, but it's still going to be one thing at a time.
Yes, and it's a good subject. We're going to be talking about shadows. And, I always do that. You know, I always spelled Nicole's last name wrong. Why do I do that? I insist that she has an I in there, and I'm looking at her, and I'm going in my head, I'm going, did I spell it wrong? Spelled it wrong through all the advertisements. And so,
Nicole, what are you going to do?
Sorry. I did it last time. She corrected me, and she didn't bother to correct me this time. She's probably like, you know what? There's no hope for her.
Keep correcting people.
So, yeah. Well, yeah, but she probably was just like, I'm not even going to bother with this woman. She doesn't seem to get it. So I'm going to fix it here. So I apologize. I'll fix it all in the advertisements after the fact, but I apologize for that. So, so good morning to Chanel. Real Deal is in the house. Good morning. Milagros is in the house. So good morning.
Let me tell you something. Yes. Can I say something about Milagros? Was on Ajusta Tu Corona last week. And she I guess she's from Nahuatl. And she spoke about sex. And she broke it up, like, you know how we've done. Great morning, Lillian. Like in steps. What type of masturbation, oral sex, everything. And it was so classy. She did it in Spanish. So shout out to Milagros.
And Lillian. Good morning, Lillian. And Michelle Imar Rivera. Good morning. And Poe Richie's on. All right, everybody's jumping on.
Happy belated birthday, Richie.
Well, that's good. So she talked about orgasms and masturbation, really classy. Good.
That's we left off on anal sex. That's how thorough she was. She says not enough parents speak to their children about it. They learn it in the streets. They learn it improperly, and then they learn it to where it's a give and take of something instead of something you want to give freely, passionately. So I think what she did was phenomenal, and I think that has to be a repeat show because she did it in Spanish and Ajusta, and maybe we can bring her on when we're doing our naturally, magically orgasmic series because she says it in such a tone that it's not offensive even for a prude. So, gracias, Michelle. Milagros. I was looking at Michelle. You see Michelle Washington. She was great. So, yes, Francia.
Good morning, Francia.
We have lack of sleep, so I'm going to be kind of loud today so that I can stay the fuck up during the show. So, let's do this. My second cup of cafe. Go ahead, badass.
So our intention, we have to do the intention. You drinking the same coffee that you were on Tuesday? I'm drinking the same coffee I was.
Yes. What was it? Café La Llave.
I forgot mine. What did I say it was? It was like some funky name. Unicorn.
It's
Unicorn coffee. I don't know. And I should have grabbed it before because it was good. It's really good. So I'll see if I could grab it in a bit. But anyway,
I'm gonna sit on the pillow I should have listened to. Namaste in bed.
I know, right? So why are you so tired? Did you get to bed late? Or were you like dreaming?
Remember I showed you earlier the packagings that I was doing for all of Viva swag. It's all packed and ready to be shipped after the show. But for those that have ordered, thank you for your patience in me learning and waiting for boxes and building boxes and stuffing boxes and sealing boxes. I was like, no wonder they have like a department that does all that shit. So yeah, I was up till almost 3 in the morning before I even took a shower to get to bed.
And you should have seen her place. It was...
And my room was a disaster. I'm like, I need a better setup than this. Because, you realize I got the printer, I got the silhouette cutter, I got the heat press, I got the mug press, and then I'm like, but where do I sit to get all the stuff to stuff it and do a pretty presentation in the packaging? So that threw me for a loop. So here we are, mi gente. Good morning. Namaste.
And you will love your packages because they're absolutely phenomenal. She's done, Guru has done such a phenomenal job with just making everything and then the way she packaged it, and totally not my thing. I'm such a guy when it comes to stuff like that. Like I would have just thrown it in and just put some bubble wrap on it and I would have been done with that.
I don't get many things in the mail. I love letters, handwritten letters. I love surprise packages in the mail. So Amazon does not arouse me because I know they're coming. Okay. But when I get a package that I'm so totally unaware of, I don't care if it's from Amazon, but somebody sent a little gift. Like I remember a couple years ago, I get an Amazon gift, and it was my violet candies. They're my favorite candies. I don't know if you remember them. They're square, and they're violet. They like lavender. They're lavender color, but they taste like lavender. No, nobody. What are they called? I think they're called lavender candy. Anyway, they're square. They come in individual purple wrap with silver. And I got a box of those, and I'm like, who the hell sent me these? And I could not fathom who sent me this box of candies, but I was so excited. I ended up finding out. It was a conversation I had with someone, and I mentioned how those were my favorite candies, and 2 months later I got them in the mail. So that's the kind of stuff I like. So when my nieces and all those get these subscriptions for makeup, like you subscribe and every month you get a surprise box. You know what I'm talking about? So I love to be there when they open it because I'm like, ooh, and they have like all these little stuff.
Chanel says they're gross.
Yeah, they're not. Their generation thinks so. My kids think they hate it because they have a memory that I always kept them in my Jetta when they were little. So you sit in my car, and that was like a natural car deodorizer. I didn't need a tree. Yeah, I know everybody thinks they're gross, but I'm eccentric. So welcome to my world.
Desiree doesn't. She said they're violets. She
Violet.
Said
well, you know why? Because Desiree's from my generation. Thank you, Desiree. And so if you hate them so much, Chanel, next time you see them because you don't find them anywhere, just send me a box.
There you go. There you go. That'll solve that problem. And thank you, Chanel. Remembered the coffee I was drinking.
That's what I meant to say. That Chanel,
you're organic. Oh my God, thank you.
Because you're the real deal, and that's why you remember. So okay, let's get it on. Who goes first?
You have the intention, and then I have the mantra.
My intention today is going to be, mi gente, listen. It's a reminder that every day we get an advice from a tree, and here's what it tells us: to stand tall and proud, to go out on a limb, to remember your roots, to drink plenty of water, and to be content with your natural beauty. Enjoy the view from your existence, outward, not how it will affect you on this way, but out. So advice from a tree: stand tall and proud, go out on a limb, remember your roots, drink plenty of water, be content with your natural beauty, and enjoy the view from your existence. Buenos días.
Beautiful. Beautiful. The mantra is very simple. Repeat after me, everybody, even Po Richie. I am a badass. That's the mantra for today. I am a badass.
I
am a badass.
Come on, Nicole Lupishansky.
She is. I saw her mouthing it. I am a badass. There she goes. Yep. So, and that's how you're going to be today. You just, no matter what you do today, you are the best of the best version of yourself. You are a badass. You are tough, but you're hard on the outside and chewy on the inside, right?
Oh, I love that. And the part of the tree, the reason I wanted to remind everybody that we are be like the tree, advice from a tree, because you know what? Trees are a vital part of our existence. They're important. They produce oxygen, life. They feed a lot of things, animals and insects around them, and they provide us shade. And it's vital. And that's how you are. Yes. Your existence in the lives of the people of your community is very important. So learn how to be selfish with your time and take care of self-care. Start practicing. If you're not, begin baby steps until you do not get up and leave your home until everything in escalones, in steps, has been done for your well-care. You pack your water when you're leaving. Make sure you have that. And that's it. Self-care.
Self-care, remember something. Self-care is, self-love is required for self-care. And it is caring also for the spirit. And we were just talking about this last night because we as in Gladiator Guru and the crew that's on the Wednesday night weight loss call, the wellness call, the group, I've not been eating like I was supposed to, and I'm feeling it. Like I'm feeling it in my joints, and I've got a lot of inflammation that I've taken on. And as a result, I've been in brain fogs. I've been tired. I don't want to do anything, unmotivated. My spirit feels very dark, and I have not been giving myself the time for myself. And the funny part is that I know better. And so sometimes even when you know better, you just get in this funk where you just want to like sabotage yourself. And the interesting thing is this is going to go really into this conversation is going to go really well into what we're going to talk about today, because it is the shadows. It's the things that we do not want to deal with, that we've suppressed and put down. And I know this, I know something's coming up for me. There's a couple of things that I have to take care of that I've been sort of put on the back burner, and I've done everything else around it, which is great. But now it's like, that's the only thing left. And it's the avoidance that I've been doing, which I've been self-sabotaging. So as a result, I haven't been caring for myself like I should. And so we were all talking about that last night on the call, because that's the same consensus. Everybody's feeling lousy. Everybody's feeling, not feeling well. The brain fog, tired, and everybody's been eating like crap. So now it's go time, because this is the last phase of the year. And do we want to go just crashing downward towards the end of the year? Do we want to just go stagnant, or do we want to say, screw that? If I've been doing this or I've been doing this, I'm rerouting. I want to go back up. So there's shit that has to be dealt with. And today's conversation is going to be actually so wonderful with Nicole.
And that's going to be beautiful. And thank you for sharing that for us. But remember, last year during the pandemic, it was like fight or flight, right?
Yes.
And there was so much unaware what was going on. You heard this. There was so much other stuff going on, and all you heard was death and sickness, death and sickness. How many of us have started a business during that? How many of us have started something new? How many of us were so vigorous with life and learning and getting things done? And then there's this and there's that. There's all these mandates and there's this vaccine and there's this. And then everybody became stagnant again. We became really sharp-witted and this desire to do something different, to add something different to our lives during the most insecure time of a pandemic, shutdowns, jobs, all this kind of stuff. And I know a lot of people who grew from that. And then all of a sudden, when everything was supposed to be in control and they knew this and they knew that, everybody became stagnant again. And with that, like we're walking in a fog. So let's start unfucking our brains with comfort zones and go back to where we were last year during the fear of what the hell's going on. Everything's on lockdown, schools from home, readjusting your whole life. You were so disrupted that you became amazing. And then this year came and it like enabled us. It was like that mama bear that just, oh, it's okay, I'll do it for you, I'll do it for you. And then we got like kind of stuck. So let's figure out what got us going last year, 2020, and what like seemed to make us feel like we're dragging our asses in 2021, so that in 2022 you would have distinguished from the both and you're gonna come out like a superstar.
Yeah, like the phoenix that you always talk about. Absolutely. All right, so let's get Nicole on. Here she is. There's Nicole.
Good morning.
Welcome. There, I spelt it right in this one. So
Wow. There.
Good morning. How are you? You look
so
fabulous.
Good. It's so good to see you, ladies. I was so excited to just, oh my gosh, catch up with you. I know there's so much that I can always learn from you. So,
oh, and it's mutual. It's totally mutual.
So excited. First of all, I'm just staring.
Good.
What?
No, go ahead. What were you saying?
I've just been staring at both of your skin. Like, I'm like, oh, their faces are glowing. Like, you guys have beautiful skin. My daughter uses a brand. It's very inexpensive and it's anti-cruelty. And it's called Ordinary. You can get it at Sephora, but they don't fancy it up. It's so cheap. So, like, she's showing me this face regimen. So maybe that's why I'm so aware about both of you. Your skin looks fabulous.
This is why we like having you on, because that's like right out the gate. You're like telling us that we're all like.
And thank you. And
yes,
thank you. A very inexpensive moisturizer as well. I use it's from Secret. It's made with stuff from the Dead Sea. It's excellent. It's like a milk cleanser, but it's very soft. And then my moisturizer is virgin coconut oil. That's all I use morning and on my hair, on my face, on my elbows. Virgin coconut oil. So
okay.
I have no makeup on today. Other than that's why I put the red lipstick.
Yeah. I just have this and this.
You look good. You look good.
I think it's just the filter. I'm going with the filter on.
I'm not, bitch. I'm owning it. Thank you, Nicole.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Let me see something really quick. There's my filter.
You look fabulous too. So I don't know what you're talking about. Your skin
Thanks
looks
for the ring light.
That ring light. And I know I sometimes go with natural light in here because of the way it works. And sometimes it works. Today's working and other days it doesn't. So I do have to get a special light.
I get it.
All right.
I don't have any special coffee. It's just Starbucks. That's okay. Starbucks pod. It's I did not pay for a Starbucks. It's a Starbucks pod. But
well, the box of pods costs as much as 1 cup of Starbucks. Basically. Okay. So all right, my dear. So this topic, good morning, Deb Wojtek. I see Deb Wojtek's on, and we have a lot of people popping up.
Your package is going out today. I had
Frank
so much
Pinero, good morning. Angela Piatti Anderson, good morning. So
Frank is on. Frankie.
Yep. So this was a topic that when we were going back and forth, because we knew we wanted Nicole back on, and when we were throwing out dates and stuff, and we said, what topic would you like to? And she jumped right onto this one. This was the one that you picked. So the title of today, and I'm calling myself out on here, and I thank God I have it in front of me, because is living behind your shadows. Leave behind past traumatic and toxic relationships to create a guilt-free life without sacrificing your daily schedule or the core of your soul. Mm-hmm. So that's beautiful, because that's kind of where I've been feeling. Like I've been feeling that the last month or so, that I've been sacrificing my soul, because I have not been honoring myself and giving myself the space, self-sabotaging consciously and subconsciously, because I'm not dealing with some shadows. There's some shadows that remain in my transformation. And I know that they're going to lead to a massive shift for things for me. Yes. And in the end, I know it's going to be great, but I think in the beginning, it's going to be very bumpy and it's going to be hard. And I know, I know that, but I don't know that really. I know it, but I don't know that, because we say we know it, but we don't know. It might not be. So okay. I've worked on everything around me, which is fine. That's great, because I still was growing. But now I've slowed down because I have to deal with the two main pieces. And so
are you grieving right now? Is that why you've slowed down?
I'm not grieving traditionally like somebody passed away. I'm grieving the end of something. And
that's what I mean.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have, grieving can be in so many ways, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
I remember
about that.
What?
So just talk about that. Tell everybody about,
which part? There's so much.
Just go ahead and start and talk about what the shadow is and why we need to, move past it.
Yeah. I think that our past, just until we truly, truly deal with it on a deep, deep level, I can share with you some things that I've done since we've last spoke that have helped a lot. Oh. Those shadows are scary. Mm-hmm. They're intimidating. And sometimes we don't even see them, right? Or we're so deep in what we're going through that we don't see them and we don't understand what's going on. So, just like what you're doing, you said you're kind of in a funk. That's what I hear you saying, mm-hmm. Which makes sense. You kind of have to go through that funk and feel the ickiness. I always say, right, like when I'm working with clients, and even I have to tell myself, honor it. But then I have to get tough on myself and say, okay, it's time to move on.
Yeah, enough.
Right. Have you sat in this long enough? So there's just that fine line. So it's we have to be patient with ourselves, but at the same time, are we becoming, and I say this cautiously, but are we, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but I think some of us that were raised in a victim mentality, we can become victimized. Sure. Because we can just keep focusing on, why does this keep happening to me? Why can't I do better? Why can't I this, right? Why doesn't this happen? And it's all about reframing your talk, as hard as that is. So one of the things I think that, when you have your shadow and there's something really bothering you, what's going on? I see you guys.
And I'm like,
oh, I didn't even know. I'm sorry. So it's so cute.
And it went up a little high, and I'm like, you know what? It looks cute. It matches the craziness of my lipstick. So
yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. But I'm from the 80s, so yeah. And the 80s are back. So
me too.
Okay. So back to that shadow, until you really go through different healing processes, I don't know if you even know that shadow is following you like it is. Mm-hmm. So I went through about 6 weeks ago, I did a rapid transformation therapy session.
Oh.
And have you done that before?
I've not done it, but I know who you're talking about. That's with, what's her name? the English lady. She's the one that created that rapid transformation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know who she is, but I worked with a woman, Iva. And so I just really found out in this 2-hour, really tough session that, I mean, I remember halfway through it, I was like, I'm so tired. I don't think I can keep doing this. And she was like, yes, you can. Right. So digging down to figure out where that shadow is coming from and to move through it and past it is a lot of work.
Yes.
But when you come out on the other side, it's really worth it. So I just found out for me, like, not only, I think just everywhere I was raised because of some things that happened to me that adults weren't responsible. And I was raised maybe to think, oh, okay, well then I can't be responsible, let's say with money or whatever. So that was a shadow that was following me my whole life, because people in my life that I cared about very much, that were very close to me, were very irresponsible. And I grew up with a family with a lot of money, but they would sabotage themselves. Now I can see that that's what they were doing. But as a child, I was just absorbing it. So one of the things I think, and this is where it would come into like my co-parenting and divorce coaching, is, my gosh, when you're in a situation, whether it's a funk or you're just feeling frustrated with somebody else, you have to really look at your shadows. You have to take ownership of those shadows. And it's not easy. It's not fun. It's right. Like, we have to really be accountable and say, okay, how am I showing up? What shadows do I have? What attachments? There's 4 attachments that we are processing through as children. Like, what are my attachment styles, and how are they giving me the ability to show up in relationships? And so that's when I think of leaving the shadows behind me, it's like really working through them and understanding, first of all, why you have that shadow so that you don't have that guilt. Because when we don't understand why, then we feel like you do, right? Like some guilt, or moms are like, oh gosh, we just feel all this guilt. So for me, it was like, I was just feeling like I had done everything wrong and made all these bad choices in my life. I'm divorced twice. So that's tough, right? Like, I look at myself and go, what? But I was just working from the shadows in my life.
That's right.
And now that I'm working through them, I can look back and say, thank you. You taught me something. I'm moving forward.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's what it is. You have to see, people think that you have to like abandon your past in order to move forward. No, you have to travel back into your past, clean up the shit, and then move forward. You have to acknowledge that it happened, accept that it happened, feel it all over again, but in your mature mentality where you know it's not going to latch on. And then you got to let it go. And a lot of people don't want to put in the work. In order for you to become successful in every part of your existence, you have to put in the work. And the shadows will follow you. My father always taught us that never trust anything, not even your shadow, because it abandons you in your darkest moments. Because in the dark, you don't have a shadow. So that's what he was like saying. And always rely on your instinct. And I think growing up the way you say, you know, we're raised with individuals who really didn't try hard enough to make our lives better than what their lives were, parents. So then you have to grasp at what was, and letting go along the way is that. It's admitting to what happened. So, and those shadows can be, if you're not of strong will, if you're not solid in knowing who you are, those shadows will torment you like demons surrounding you. Your spirit will be crying out for help, which then will lead you to make poor choices in your awaken hours. So that's why you got to feed your spirit. I talk about this all the time. You got to feed your spirit in with loving words and saying, this happened to me, but it's not who I am. So go ahead. I love where you're going.
And I think that you can say it's happening for me, right? You can change that. I've become very spiritual on my journey, even more so in the last 6 to 9 months. And the way you can look up or look at what's happening to you, your occurrences, is a spiritual assignment.
Mm-hmm.
So show up for your spiritual assignment. Figure out why that spiritual assignment keeps reoccurring or is occurring, because it's only really truly to make you more whole on the inside. It's counterintuitive, but it's real and it's true. So if you don't have these spiritual assignments, if you don't have these negative things that happen that challenge you to figure out why they're happening, then you don't get down to the core and you do stay, like what you just said, somewhat demonized. I interact, and I would never call out names, but I interact very closely with people that are so unaware of themselves. And yes, I could say it's, part of their brain functioning and all of that. But the point is, they're unaware. And so they're staying in a place of choosing bad choices, even in their middle age to what's going to be, midlife. But so what, I look at those people and I think, okay, I feel bad for them. Like, be grateful if you're going through something hard. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but it is. Be grateful because it's making you better. It's making you stronger. And maybe it's doing exactly what you said as well. Maybe it's creating a path. Like, this pandemic hit all of us. Has it been rough? Absolutely. But I started my own business from it. And I'm doing the best I can. Now, is it easy to start your own business? No, it's not easy. Is it easy to sit here by myself every day and make myself work? And do I feel lonely sometimes? Of course. But here I am, and I got to make my business, even though times have been really tough. So there's something better out there for you. I just want to say that if you feel like you can't get out of your shadow, you feel stuck, and you feel hopeless, first of all, you are not alone, right? That's the number one thing, is that we can feel so alone, like nobody would understand what we're going through or nobody cares. See, even the dogs care. They're telling you. That's a sign from the universe. You're all one, and the dogs care. Like, you are supported and everyone loves you. So, okay.
Well, the dogs are very spiritual.
Are you speaking directly to me, or are you speaking to the tribe?
Everybody.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I'm like, because there's levels. See, there's different levels. Like, first level is to become aware, right? And the reason, and when you keep saying that it's counterintuitive, it's only counterintuitive because we as society have grown to understand that when things are bad, things are bad. Not that there's light, like light at the end of the tunnel, that when there's dark, there's light. And that you will learn from this. So we're programmed that, if it's bad, you got to just be in the bad part, right? So it's only counterintuitive because that we have to retrain ourselves. But there's first awareness, right? Because there's people that aren't even there, like you said. They're not even aware. They don't even know what's going on. They don't know because they don't want to know, or they are blissfully like living their lives until somebody points it out. We have like a visitor at the house too. And then once you get to the awareness, then there's the piece of, I'm aware of it. I just don't know what to do with it now. Like, I know this is here. What do I do now? Then there's the next piece where I know what to do. I've been doing it, but I'm getting afraid because big changes are happening and it's a scary place to be because it's unknown. So there's so many different levels, but no matter what, if that shadow is not dealt with, and when you were talking about rapid transformation therapy, I put it up before, it's Marissa Peer. She's the one that created that. And she's, I highly recommend anybody check her out. She works a lot with Mind Valley. She's on YouTube, English lady. She's always talking about, I am enough. That's her catchphrase, is I am enough. But that's what it comes down to, is those shadows. That's what what's her name was from the movie. That's what she talks about. Ford. What was her name? Ford. I can't think of it. It'll come to me. But if you don't deal with the shadows, then you will stay stuck. Like, you're either going to suppress them. They'll pop out though. They will pop out when you least expect it. And that's the worst part about it, is because they do it at the worst times.
They're always with us. See, that's the problem with spirituality. And we have to question, why is this happening to me, so that you can be aware that it is for a reason. Because if you're only accepting everything as it's for me to work it out, then you're not going to deal with the disruption of it. And when it's happening to you, it's a disruption. It's disrupting your now. And you're like, okay, what do I have to? And then you have to dig up. You have to dig up what the fuck is bothering you. Why is it happening to you at this point in time? You have to stop. You have to breathe. You have to pull from your ancestors. See, I'm very spiritual. I walk with my ancestors. I grew up in spirituality. I do my sage. I light my candles. I speak to my dead. So when something is happening that it feels like it's slapping you in the face, sit down and ask, where are the shadows coming from? What chapter in my life are they sneaking out of? Because the chapters in our lives that we ignore or pretend they didn't happen lay dormant. And 20 years later, we're like going through all these emotions, not knowing what it is. And it's something that happened that we didn't deal with. So then you wonder, why now? Because now it's for you. Now you got to learn from what's happened to you or what's happening to you, so that you can then introduce it for you. And then you bring out the light from the middle of it. You have to see the shadows, but remember, there's always a light you draw from the center of it. So that's what we got to be like. Where we not? And that counter, the badass Buddha and I were talking about it yesterday. People want to make everything about scientific shit. No, we are spirits living in a human world. This is not our home.
We're energy.
That's why we have to feed our spirits, because spirituality that's who we are. This stays. The spirit goes. So we must feed it with the light, but we must also remind ourselves of the darkness and how we get out of it, so that we can help others draw from it and draw out of it. We got to live in that darkness. We got to feel all the discomfort, find a way out. And that's why we are coaches. That's why I'm a spiritual and creative healing coach. So I dwell in my darkness, and I say, okay, why am I here again? And then I can bring it out. And then I can help others draw it out that are not as familiar with it. So I love it. Go ahead, Lupishansky.
And I love, and Nicole, listen, I do love that. I love both what Gladiator Guru was saying and you said, to say, why is this happening to me? So there's the awareness. And then say, I love that it's happening for me.
Exactly.
Because the for me is the empowering piece. It's the one that's saying that this is giving me an opportunity to learn from this, as opposed to playing the victim role. Oh, this is happening to me. How does it be?
That's different. I'm never a victim. I won't be a victim to a predator on any given day. When I say, why is this happening to me? That's my awareness, being aware of what exactly is happening. So that word victim, I think that we use it in such a negative way. I am a victim of my moment. So why is this happening to me? And that's an empowerment. You cannot say, oh, but don't say, why is this happening to me? Change it to that. So much changing of words to making it so positive because people are afraid to be victimized. It's what's fucking up the healing process. Deal with it. Is it happening to you? God damn it, it's happening to you. And let's work it out. Why is this happening to me? Why am I here again? Oh, because I need this for this moment so that I can go to the next level. That's what's happening with all these new words coming out and all these mindset shifting and transformation. Go back to the fucking basics. I am not a victim. But why is this happening? Why the fuck did I fall on my face again? Okay, Margie, because you were supposed to be 3 levels up and you held yourself back. Okay, how do I get to that 3rd level now that I'm supposed to be at? Because that's what the universe told me where I needed to be, but I slacked off because I got stuck on stupid. That's where the why is this happening to me happens. It's an awakening. It's an awareness that you were supposed to be somewhere else, but you allowed something to hold you back. So what is that? Because this is happening for me.
Ooh, she's on a roll now. She's preaching.
So then, because you know what? I listen to I'm going to change my narrative, the paradigms, all these words that everybody thinks they're cool and they're adding into their repertoire. their vocabulary, what the fuck is the meaning? In order for you to launch forward where you're supposed to be universal in the maktab language, keep it simple. Be a tree. Water yourself. Bask in your branches. And when you, all of that. And so, Michelle, I love what you're saying. Keep saying, I'm not disagreeing with any of you. I'm just, you know what? I just feel that we need to remind ourselves that we are better than where we're at and why. Like you said, self-sabotaging, because that's what we're all going through. We're all going through this, oh, I'm tired, I'll get to it later type of shit. So we need this conversation. I'm just a little loud. And you know what? Because sometimes I feel when I talk to people.
The coffee has kicked in, man.
Wow. They're like, oh, but I don't understand. And I'm telling them, and they're like, oh, yeah, but see, this is why. So, you know what? Get the hell out of my face, because you just made me waste a lot of spit and stuff you're not getting. So that infuriates me, because when I speak on certain things, you know what? If you came to me, it's because, listen. So I get stuck on, yes, Richard.
So let's I'm loud. And let's address that. He says, how do we work? But he's asking a question. So many thrive from the attention of being a victim, which is very true. Because they don't have to accept responsibility. That's why people claim victimization all the time, whether it's conscious or subconscious. They don't have to take responsibility. It's always somebody else's fault. Yeah. So accepting spiritual counsel is a conflict. How do we work with these types of people to help them become self-aware? So let's take that question. That's a fabulous question, Po Richie Rich, and I'm so glad that you brought it up. So what do you think, Nicole? How do we?
So I see this in my clients often, right? There's a lot of emotion when you're going through a battle for your child. There's probably never more emotion for anything, I don't think. And we as parents and my clients can get in the way sometimes of themselves, and they don't even see, they're not aware, and they think that, look what they're doing to me. Look at what the other person is doing to me. So how do you make somebody aware? It sounds like potentially you might be a coach. I'm just going to share how I do with a coach, just like I kind of do it with my kids, right? We can keep it simple. Yeah. Is you work through the process with them, but you ask them questions so that you basically say, how do you play a role in this relationship? Where do you come in? Because so many times we can point the finger at somebody else and not even understand that it is us. And I'm going to own up to something here. This is a big own. And I know anybody in the world can hear this. I am divorced. Did things happen between me and my ex-husband that I could say he? Absolutely. But the question is, how did I show up?
That's correct.
How did I react? What was I doing to keep the fire going? What was I doing to keep the game going? So those are the questions, maybe not exactly in those words. I'm good at being hard on myself.
That's a good one though. I like that, especially what was I doing to keep the game going? I loved that sentence.
Yeah, because I say this. You can't hit a tennis ball back that's not thrown to you. So when someone throws something at you, how do you react? How are you showing up? Now, you don't beat yourself up for that. You recognize it. You say, okay, I'm showing up this way. I'm triggered. Why? Oh, I'm triggered when somebody makes fun of me because a part of my brain did not develop properly when I was a child because I had different traumatic incidences. So, for example, when you're overstressed or you're going through chronic stress, let's say somebody jumps out of the corner to scare you. Well, if you're under chronic stress, your heart might race faster. You might freak out. You might have a longer time to recover from that. Where if things are good, you're having fun. Let's say you're on vacation, there's no stress at all, and somebody jumps out of the corner. You're like, oh, that's so funny. So it's the same. It's the same thing. It's just being aware of how you react and why. So not judging, just understanding why.
But that's hard for many, right?
It's hard for me. Are you kidding? Like, I had to say, oh my gosh, I showed up this way and I did this. And does it make me a bad person? No. But guess what? It doesn't make the other person bad either. And that's the most beautiful part of healing yourself and being compassionate towards yourself, is then you're compassionate towards everybody. We are all of one. We are all from one.
That is right. That's what
that's what I would say, is help the person that you're working with to understand they are showing up, whether it's positive, negative, or both. And that's okay to figure out why. The only way you're going to change what's going on around you is to change your behavior. Your emotion decides your behavior, right? So then that comes in with like what Gladiator Guru talks about, is centering yourself before you leave in the morning. If you can't do a 30-minute ritual, do 5 minutes. Break it up. If you have an attention span of not like, I don't know, of a 2-year-old, right? Or a 1-year-old. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to put that 1-year-old down, but obviously that's the case because we're all moms and we know that, like, so do something for 1 minute, like journal for 1 minute, read for 1 minute, exercise for 1 minute, affirm for 1 minute, and then get out the door. That's 4 minutes. That's nothing. But there's always a way we can change. And so I think it's just the way you frame it to the person, being kind to them, of course, and helping them understand that they're showing up. And if they resist you, that's not your fault. I think that's the hardest part as coaches, is we can feel like if a client doesn't, or somebody that we're trying to help doesn't respond or absorb what we're trying to say, that we're doing something wrong. They're just not ready. And we have to.
I am here, and that's sad. Doesn't it make your spirit sad? Like, but then you're right.
I think we just have to love them through it and know, like, I didn't come to the place that I'm at overnight.
No.
Right? So we just have to love them.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the other person. What I was saying is that when you do that, and you're giving, and you know you're giving your all, because we've been there. And especially, and then you still feel like it didn't work. And it's like, okay, what can I do better? What? And then you hear, and you just give your best. The beauty of being a coach or a parent, it's all the same thing. You just got to give your best and hope that they receive it as you gave it, your best. And that's where you can't be judging all the time, because I look at me, you can tell me something, you're going to know exactly how I feel, because I'm like, "Grrr!" But then there's other people that'll sit there and be like, and then they won't say nothing until later. So we can't judge how people are taking things. We just got to hope that when we deliver something in gratitude and kindness, no matter how you say it, and I'm defending myself, I'm just a passionate, eccentric woman. I'm Puerto Rican and Italian. I'm fired. So, and just hope. And
you know what's great about that is you always know what you get is real.
That's it.
That's admirable. People don't like me a lot they tell me, like, you're too honest, you're too blunt. Well, at least you know what I say is true. You may not like it, so you're just people admire people that are passionate and true to their own beliefs.
You know what?
Deep down, they do. Some people,
no apology,
but they say, sometimes they say they don't like that, but deep down they're saying that because they wish they were that way.
Mm-hmm. And they wish they had that courage.
And getting back with what the question with Po Richie, if this is like with regards to like a family member or friend, for instance, playing the victim role, my philosophy is this: it's everybody has their own path, and both what Nicole and Gladiator Guru were talking about was that you be you do you best. You whatever you share with people, your knowledge, you take action, and action speaks louder than words. But in the end, the person still has their own journey. And if they still cannot get that, even if you've pointed things out to them and said, hey, why don't you take it from a different perspective? Like, you said this, but really it's not that bad. And if they're not receptive to it, then there's nothing you can do about it. And you just have to honor the fact that that is their path. And that is sometimes the hardest thing to do. That was the conversation we had on Tuesday. That's the hardest thing to do when it's people that you care about, like your children or your parents. And you're like, I wish they would stop being like this. This is not healthy, but that is their path. And so I always, I'm spiritual, and we're all different, I think, at different spiritual levels, or different, not levels, but different types of spirituality. I'm very big on energetics. And my thought is, I'm just going to throw the energy out there. And Nicole, you said it big, to find compassion in the people that have hurt us the most, or the people that have caused us the most, cause us issue. But to find the compassion only really, it helps them, but it helps us. It feeds our spirit. And so for us to do that and say to these people who are playing the victim role, I'm just going to throw out love, light, and energy. And I will say things and I will support them. But if these are the people that suck you, like they're constantly coming in, because that's what victims do too. The victim role also they like the attention. So they throw it out there all the time. So you feel bad because they want to receive that. Oh my God, I'm so sorry to hear that. Don't play into it. Like my mom could be like that. I love my mom dearly, but my mom can be a little victim-y sometimes, and she'll say things out there. And I just don't respond to it. Like I don't say anything. I don't even nod sometimes, because she's baiting me. She wants me to respond in a certain way. And there's other people in my life that do that.
I'm thinking, does that make her even more mad?
No, I was just saying there's other people that do that too. Right. And the other people, it makes them pissed off because they want me, like they want me to bait, but she'll stop. Like she'll just stop and she'll just move on, but that's how you navigate with people like that. That's their journey. Right?
I feel like a few of these things are touching on what it's like to raise a teenager.
Yeah.
My grandkids, a whole other show.
So
right?
Yeah.
Right.
So I raised mine, and now.
But if you raised a teenager, then you can maybe really
my daughter.
Understand this.
I hope she's on. I couldn't stand that little kid. Ooh, the age of 13 to I couldn't stand her. Now she's 35. But now I got an 18 and a 15-year-old grandchild. 18-year-old granddaughter and 15-year-old grandson. And they're better. And, you just love them differently. But yeah, absolutely what you touched on about having compassion. And I like to describe that as when we do the work that we do, we're like that lighthouse that has that light, bringing other people to safety and making people aware to be careful that if they come any close to the rocks or whatever, right? Whatever the fuck a lighthouse light does, that's what we do. And in it, right? In doing that, it is to make people aware. It is to wake them up if they're asleep, and it's to warn them of possible dangers, right? So we're the safety. We're like that guardian angel that keeps them safe.
That's so beautiful, right?
So
that's what badass Buddha said.
Yeah, it's who we are. So what do? When you enter the light's flashing really big out. When you go into the lighthouse to climb up to the top, it's dark because the light is shining out, right? You walk in, dim lights, but it's not as bright as the light coming out. And sometimes we wonder, why do I constantly, in the work that we do, we are that faro. It's so pretty in Spanish. Say it with me, faro.
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 El faro. And
Faro?
so, el faro, F-A-R-O.
Faro. Okay.
That's the lighthouse. So because when we do what we do spiritually, scientifically, however you want to do it, we will be facing more shadows than the average person. Yeah. We will face the shadows going up into the light. And then our purpose is to shine the light on other people to bring them out of the shadows. That's our work. We are shadow workers with the spirituality, with the life coaching, with the making people aware, having people wake up to their best life, to their purpose in this life, helping them pave their road and stay in their own fucking lane so they don't encounter traffic going forward. That is our mission. What is it that we do? We have chosen a career of servitude. What is our purpose as humans? To be of service to one another. So we are in our right place. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It doesn't mean we're going to know all the answers. That is why we form a tribe the way we do, to learn from each other. Because our purpose is to raise our children to be aware of everything around them, right? And to learn and be better than where we came from, and then to help shine the light on the roads of everyone else coming with us. So when we're in doubt, when I'm in doubt, like, what the hell? I always remember the lighthouse. I speak about the lighthouse all the time, And what I say is, nobody's coming to save you. And I tell that to people I speak to. Nobody's coming to save you. Stop lying to yourself. Get up, get dressed, and be your own super fucking hero.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all I got to say.
Sometimes you have to go get the big thing alone.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just have to, whether that big thing is independence, self-love, or it's something bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just have to do it alone. And at the end of the day, that's who you can count on every day.
Exactly.
I mean, in addition to your higher being and your guides, you've just got yourself,
That is that. Thank you. It's true. And I think that is what we share with our tribe. That is why, the Badass Buddha and I, we try to bring the best of ourselves every Tuesday and Thursday. We wake up, no matter how tired we are, we wake up, we get dressed, we put the red hooker lipstick on, and we show up.
Oh, you were here the day, like right after your mother passed away. That was the last time I saw you.
That my mother was slowly dying in the bed and never said anything. I showed up. Why? And that's another thing. We talk about compassion. I had to forgive, and I had to ask for forgiveness. And I'm glad I had that year with her, so that when she passed away, we died. She died. We died because a part of me died with her. Knowing that we forgave each other, and knowing that life happens, and either you stay stuck or you grow. So what is it that you're going to be? The lotus. Be the lotus and grow through all that murkiness and all that was meant to weigh you down. You're breaking through it. And that's the message that we give people. And you know what? That's what we have to do. We have to get up, get dressed, and show up. Even if we're staying home that day, get dressed and show up for yourself, because you're the most important person in your life. And I am spiritual. There is my God, my Jesus. That's who shines a light on me. And sometimes I be like, I'm fucked up today. I can't talk to you right now. That's my relationship with my God. So, but we're all we have. So if anybody's listening out there and they feel lonely and nobody loves them, get up and love yourself. Don't expect from anybody what you won't give yourself. And that's how I speak to people. It don't matter who loves you, who sent you a text today. Write in your journal. Write yourself a letter. So yeah, that's it.
I love it. So true. Yeah. Tell yourself you love yourself in the mirror.
And I like did you see what Alyssa wrote? Alyssa wrote, be the lotus. And then Michelle came in with no mud, no lotus.
That's it.
Which is phenomenal. I love that.
And like Tupac said, the rose that grew through concrete in Brooklyn. There's so many things that you can say, but we cannot sit here and victimize ourselves when nobody loves me, nobody cares, nobody checks on me. Check in on yourself. Badass yesterday reminded us about writing in our journals how our body feels for the chiral thing. And you know what? We need reminders like that. I'm a writer, but I need reminders. I have 50 million things like this with wording in it. And I keep them around because sometimes I'm like, oh shit, I wrote this. And I always date my stuff. So that write yourself a letter. Send a text to yourself. When you're out, bring a self-addressed self-stamped envelope. Carry several in your purse. When you're out somewhere and you're feeling down, write yourself a fucking letter and put it in the nearest mailbox. So that a couple days later, you're going to open your mailbox and be like, and your spirits will be raised on your own merit, on your own love, on your own self-compassion, on your own self-trust. We have to learn how to cultivate all of that within ourselves.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So Nicole, what would you like to end with? Because we're at the end here. Like, what would you like to say?
Gosh, I don't know. I feel like she did such a great finale. I can't top it. The pressure.
Not at all.
I'm going to go back to the tree, what you started with. I think that when you think of yourself, if you can be a tree, I actually put this in some of my works that I'm creating right now.
Good.
So I'm just going to see something, but the thing about being a tree, right, is that you're grounded. So that's the most important thing, is that we have to ground ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to do all the things. I need that list from you. I love that. I love that. So beautiful. So if I could repeat it, I would, but be flexible, right? Like the limbs.
Listen, she probably can't repeat it all either.
Water yourself.
Being tall and proud.
Here we go.
Okay. Branch yourself out. Drink plenty of water. Remember your roots. Okay. And admire the beauty from where you're at. See, everybody wants to be a peer. 2 people want to be slithering so people can feel sorry for them. Stand firm and tall and admire it from your view. That's where things are beautiful, when you're admiring it from your view. You know, the reason I love trees, I'm a tree hugger. I'm planting 3 trees in my front yard in memory of my father, my husband, and my mother. I'm tired of that. Pretty soon I'll have my own fucking forest in my little 1 acre of land. So what happens? Khalil Gibran writes in The Prophet. He writes how when 2 individuals, he says that the oak tree does not grow in the shadow of the cypress. Now that's beautiful. We will not grow being shadowed by our past, by our pains, by our whatever conflicting emotions we have. We will not grow in the shadows of darkness. So stand in your light and in your truth. And it doesn't matter who understands you. It doesn't matter who agrees with you. You don't gotta, nobody has to understand you. As long as you understand you, you can navigate through all types of things.
And release the guilt, right? There's no reason to feel guilty.
No.
I get it. I feel guilty every day as a parent, but it doesn't serve myself. It doesn't serve my children at all.
Either. It doesn't. It keeps you right where you are. It keeps you in the past. It does not solve anything. You can't go back in time. You can't change things. You can't undo things, unsay things. So you have to say, okay, what did I learn from that? And what can I do differently now? And even when it's affecting children, I had this conversation with my 17-year-old. The would have, could have, should have came up. And I said, listen, unfortunately, we can't go back. Like I can't undo things that I did, my choices, my parenting at that time. So now we just have to persevere and move forward and correct it. And yes, it's not easy because we have to reverse and then come back, like to get rid of it. But that's all we can do. And I'm glad that she's at a point where she's starting to get that, so she's, but she has her moments, some days she's not so getting that. And it's, so I'm in the teenage stage too. So we're good,
You're at 17?
17 with somebody that suffered anxiety and depression, almost her whole life, and depression in the last few years. So it's up and down, but we're getting there, she's doing well. So, all right. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for staying on the extra 5 minutes, Nicole. We really appreciate, and your energy has definitely shifted from the last time we had you on. You seem so
I was having a hard time, and I'm actually going through maybe to some extent more right now, but I'm really happy. It's that daily, I do sometimes 5-6 minutes right now. But I do daily breathing. I have a breathwork coach. There's so much mindfulness going on in this day. Like I've realized, okay, I can't be, even though I have like great work ethic, I can't push myself to work 8 hours a day. I'm actually more productive when I'm taking those breaks and just being aware. And I think I've just done so much spiritual work within my core that I'm just a different human being. So I am so much happier. Thank you. I'm glad that it shows because I feel it.
Even in the control of your voice, it shows.
Yeah.
And you know what? I burn my sage. I make tea with my sage. And that's how I've been feeding my spirit lately because it's been a little heavy.
Okay, because I sage through my home all the time.
You open your windows, though, to make sure that all the negative energy goes out. Do you start at the top or the last room and don't crisscross?
No, that I didn't know about. Yeah, I go like this, so I didn't know to do this.
Well, you walk in, let's say you start in your front door, you go all to your right, inside all the rooms, you keep going until you come out back to the front door, but you don't crisscross. So if you start here, this is your front door, and then you can go to your right. You go to all the rights and you go around. But you can call me on that. But I also make tea from it. I keep my spirit. You know, when something I have to revisit, like Lord, that was a great analogy, by the way. And I love ask my kids driving in reverse, so that shit don't scare me, right? You just drive back, but that's a great analogy. Go backwards. Figure it out. You can't fix it because it already happened, but you can observe. And then it's like time travel. You're there. You're like, oh shit, I can't fix it. I can't change my history, but I could make it better going forward because I'm aware. So yeah, I love it. You look at everything shows you complimented our skin. You know what? Lori was right. You just look beautiful.
Yeah, you really do.
Thanks.
For me, the confidence in your voice.
Yeah.
And we're happy for you. We're really happy for you. So and because we all deserve that. We all deserve to live a happy life and you know, dealing with exes and or in the process, it's challenging. You know, it's really challenging. So
it is. But the judicial system, you can't put your faith into that.
No, they're not made for us.
So that's where others don't decide who we are, right? We decide our day. My God, it may be your last day because it's just life here on earth until you transition. So
correct.
You know, be grateful that you woke up.
Yeah, that's it. I'm grateful before my feet hit the ground. Father God, thank you for today. Guide me to make it great, to be of purpose, to be of use. Thank you. I'm grateful. And then I start my day. And then sometimes I'm just a big mush. I take a shower, get dressed, and don't do shit. But I showed up. And in that not doing shit, I am thinking, and then the next day I'm like this powerhouse. And yesterday I put a post. There's things I want to do, but I want to be awesome today, but I'm so exhausted from being awesome yesterday. Because I'm acknowledging it. If you acknowledge it, then there's nothing to be guilty about, right?
Well, I'm so grateful to just be around you ladies. I can always learn so much, and your energy is so awesome. I'm so into energy, and I just want to be around people like us and help more people be like us.
And we're grateful for you too. We're grateful that you came back on, and we're very, very happy to see you in the energetic place that you are. So
thank you. Yeah, it's good.
Send me your email unless we have it. Do we have her email?
I have her email. It's in the Viva. Email.
Who's the admin here? We know who the admin is.
The badass Buddha.
We didn't even talk about your trip.
Oh yeah, that's another story. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, we gotta come back together.
So thanks everybody for coming on. Today is Thursday, right? So it's the weekend is coming up. We hope you have a fabulous weekend. For next week, for Tuesday, we have Victim or Victor with Bridget Richard. And for Thursday, we have The Art of Self-Mastery with Sophia McMorris. So we want to thank our phenomenal guest, Nicole Lupishansky, again for coming on. and her bright spirit and her wisdom and the insight that she shared. And, for all of you, just remember, share, like, subscribe, let people know, how powerful the conversations are that we have, especially when we have our guests on. And it might be something that someone needs to hear. So please, make sure you do that. We'd be grateful for that. But I think the other people would be as well. So again, from Viva Cafe con Leche and the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
Yes, and thank you. We have 114 followers on YouTube. Yay, let's make that celebration. Where's my celebratory thing? Yay! Okay, mi gente, Nicole, thank you. We if you'd like, send us your address. Our guest gets a mug.
Oh, how nice. I would love that. Thank you.
Send us your address, and remember, mi gente, breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.
Namaste, everyone.
Sanam.